Hive and Spark integration, since how it is going to be. Okay, so you know that Hive is a warehouse. Okay, and for Hive we'll have a data that is which is stored in warehouse. Okay, which is stored in warehouse, and for it we have again, along with data we will have a meta store. That means the data about the tables, the meta information about the tables and databases and schemas and views, whatever we have in Hive, they will be stored in some meta store. You got it? And for maintaining this meta store, an RDBMS is needed. Guys, already you have experienced this Hive and Hadoop HDFS. I think they know about this warehouse and RDBMS. We store the data in HDFS. Is a very simple. It is a distributed file system, and we store the data in HDFS, isn't it? Perfect. Okay. Now, what is that you use to play with the data? What language you will use to play with the data? Play in the sense to processing. Okay. So, what language you are going to use? The data is in HDFS.
That
I'm asking this the question to you guys who are not that good at Hive or who are very new to Hive. If you have data in HDFS, what language you are going to use to play with the data?
Hive, right? Hive QL, HQL
Yeah,
something.
yeah. If you want to use SQL language, if you want to use SQL language, Hive is a good tool for that. If you have already data in HDFS, on the top of the data, listen carefully to my words, guys. Okay, if you have some data in HDFS, on top of the data, if you want to use SQL language for playing with the data, okay, Hive is such a tool. Okay, just to forget that Hive is warehouse or something like that, just forget about it. If you have data in HDFS, I want to use SQL language to play with the data. Is there any tool to do such type of play? Yes, there is a tool that is called as Hive. Very simple. Cannot understand in simple term, it is Hive. That's it. Got it? But generally called as what the language that Hive uses, they call as HQL. You know, it will be same as SQL, but very light slight differences are there. So they call it a high query language instead of SQL, but it's almost same as SQL only. Don't worry. Okay, so Hive is the tool which uses a language called as HQL, which is same as SQL, to play with the data that is present already in HDFS. That's it. Very simple. Okay. So this tool, so if it is, I think most of you guys are good at RDBMS, right? Oracle. Okay. I think all of you guys are working with Oracle, I think. What is the language used by Oracle? Is it SQL or anything else?
Yeah, SQL.
SQL only, right? And
Yeah.
now ask you guys where the data of Oracle will be stored. I'm asking you
In files.
uh,
Yeah.
in files, right? Somewhere in files
Yeah.
only, right? Internally it will
Correct.
be stored as files, but we use SQL, Oracle SQL language to play with those files, to perform some operations on the files perfectly, right? Exactly. Here the data will not be stored in files in the form of files in HDFS.
Okay.
Got it? The data
Got it.
is stored in the form of files only on HDFS Hive. That is the difference between normal RDBMS and Hive. That's it. Very simple. Okay. But in Oracle, what it is real time. We can do real time transactions, isn't it? Then we can update a particular record. Is it possible to update a record in Oracle or MySQL or any RDBMS?
Yes.
We can update a record. We can delete or we can modify. A single record updation is allowed. Yeah, yeah. Anyone is trying to ask me any question? But here, in case of Hive, that single record modification or updations are not supported. Why? Because HDFS is not for small amount of data, it's for vast amount of data, terabytes, petabytes of data. So such kind of operations are not recommended in Hive. Got it? So this is for analysis high the data that is in HDFS, and by using the language SQL, the data is meant for analysis purpose, not for real-time transactions purpose. Is it fine? Transaction purpose is not recommended, but it's only for analysis purpose. That is very, very simple, guys. Okay. Hive, the backend file system is HDFS, but Oracle or MySQL, what is the backend file system for Oracle? What's the backend file system? File system. If we install on Windows, that will be the file system. If we install on Linux, the corresponding file system. If we install Oracle on Linux server, what is the file system used by the Linux? It is some ext3 and ext4 are file systems only. So obviously that is going to be the file system, okay, where the data is stored. Okay. If we install that on Windows, the Windows file system NTFS will be the backend for storing the data of it. But here in case of Hive, it is HDFS, Hadoop distributed file. So that is only the difference. And understand that this is only for analysis purpose, and this can be used for transactional purpose. I don't say real time, I say transaction. Okay, fine, guys. I think is this baseline clear to you guys? The difference between RDBMS and Hive. Do we have anything called as metadata, guys?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think that it contains?
It contains data like data about data, where the data is storing. It's kind of indexing and giving
Exactly.
the.
Yeah, exactly, right. Where do you think it will be stored, that information?
It's again in the tables only, but
Yes,
um,
exactly. In that RDBMS itself, right? In that RDBMS itself. In the form of tables, in the form of some tables or database that be stored. Exactly. For Hive also we'll have some, we call it as metastore. Metastore. For this, an RDBMS is required. A RDBMS is required. In that, a database will be created in RDBMS. Database in the sense, don't consider a database in the sense entire database. I'm telling you, a database, create a database like that. Okay, a database in RDBMS will act as a metastore, where it will maintain information of all the tables, databases, where, when they are created, where they are created, who is the owner, what are the permissions, everything. That information will be available in the metastore. Okay, so very simple, guys. Here, just I'm trying to conclude this. Hive, it is a tool which plays with the data by using a language called as SQL on the data that is stored in HDFS. Okay, and it is used for analysis purpose, and this is the metastore. Perfect. Now I have started already in my VMware. HDFS services started and Hive services are started, but I did not start the Hive command prompt or nothing. Just I have started it. Okay. Now I'm going to start Hive. And for, I think if you have idea of HDFS, this is the web UI of HDFS. Okay, web UI of HDFS. And okay, if you want to go to the file system, HD file system, and the utilities will have browser file system. Open it. This is the root directory. Can you see the root directory here? The root directory and the file system. This is the data we have in that. So let us see whether Hive has, yes, Hive has started. You can see the Hive prompt here. Okay. Yeah. Now I will show you show databases. So how many databases we have in Hive? So these are the different, how many we have, 14 databases are there. Okay. I will show you where do we have this. So this is HDFS. Okay. In this is the root directory. You can see here root. Okay. In that user and in that Hive, in that warehouse, some data, folder hierarchy, nothing else. Okay. In this, what are the databases that are shown here? A DB1, DB2, DB3. Okay, you will have those DB1, DB2, DB3 here. Can you see this? DB1, DB2, DB3. Spark underscore DB, Spark DB test. You can see this. I think will we have in the next page. Yes, Spark underscore DB. You can see this Spark underscore DB here. Spark DB. So what is that I'm trying to show is whatever the databases that we are able to see in Hive in this here, we have them as directories in HDFS. That means whatever that I'm trying to show is whatever the result that we are seeing in Hive, the data is ultimately stored in HDFS. That's what I'm trying to show here. Okay, and I use one show tables in default. Okay, the all to the tables in default. The many tables are almost 58 tables are there. I will show you one table. Some in the initial we have account device accounts or ABC ABCD. Let me show you them. Just go back. User Hive warehouse. So we'll have this ABCD ABC ABCD account device accounts. Let me open this account device. See this guys. This is stored as some files actually. These are stored as some files. Let me show. I think I can show you the only the tail of this file. You can see this. The data is stored in the form of files, not in the form of tables. It is stored in the form of files only. Okay, so the data is stored in the form of files, but when I try to access, see this, select start from default dot account device limit some file. So we are no, the data is represented as a table here, but how it is stored internal, it is stored in the form of files. Got it? Okay, on HDFS the data is to the form of files, but it is how it is representing the data in the form of tables to us. Is it fine, guys? I think this must be clear to you. Now, what is the do is, if you want to integrate Spark and Hive Hadoop configurations, there will be two files, core-site.xml and hdfs-site.xml, and from Hive configuration directory hive-site.xml. Okay, remember guys, when we install Hadoop, we will have these two types of files. In addition to this, there are many other configuration files are there, but we need to focus on these two on files, core-site.xml. I think all good already taken Hadoop code, they know about all this. I think core-site.xml and hdfsi.xml, and this is Hive configuration file that we have in Hive configuration directory. Okay, just let me show you that I have installed all my components in root directory of my Linux system and user and in the local. So this is where all I have installed all my tools here, big data tools. In this we'll see Hadoop here. Here we have Hadoop 2.9.0. If you open this, in this etc directory, in this Hadoop, just see the path guys here, user local on the top. Just see this, user local Hadoop etc Hadoop. In this is the directory where we have all the configuration files of Hadoop. Okay, so in this we'll have two files called as core-site.xml and hdfs-site.xml. These two files from here, okay, these two files, remember the path here, just see the path, user local Hadoop etc Hadoop, from this core-site.xml and hdfs-site.xml, and just go back. Here we have a Hive. Some people have, yeah, here we have Hive. In this Hive conf directory, in this we have hive-site.xml. This file from Hive configuration and the two configuration files from Hadoop configuration files must be moved to, not moved, copied, must be copied to Spark configuration. Okay, don't get confused about this. If you want to have Hive and Spark integration, if you want to have Hive and Spark integration, just copy these two files from Hadoop configuration directory and this file from Hive configuration directory into Spark configuration directory. Hadoop home directory. In that we'll have etc. In that we'll have Hadoop. This is the path where we'll have these two files. Okay, and the Hive configuration file will be Hive home directory. In that we'll have configuration. In that we'll have hive-site.xml. Got it? Under Spark configuration, we have to put it under configuration directory. That is Spark home directory. In that we'll have one more directory called as conf. In this we have to copy these three files: core-site.xml, hdfs-site.xml, and hive-site.xml. This you need not to do, guys. Why? Because in our real-time environments, if we choose any cloud environment, Amazon or AWS or GCP or any cloud environment, if you take the big data cluster there, we need not to do all this. Okay, everything will be already pre-configured. You don't have to configure anything there. Okay, just remember that. But internally you have to know to understand certain issues. Why? Because we face many issues while developing the applications. Just to understand, they trace back the issue perfectly, we should know this concept. If we know this, then we can trace out where the problem is actually, what the issue is. Otherwise we will be, it will be become very difficult sometimes to what, trace out the issue. Okay, is it clear, guys? Just try to understand, these are the configuration files and we have to copy them into Spark home directory. That's it. With this, Hive and Spark can work together. Clear for everyone? Perfect. Yeah, now I'm going to do that. Cp is the command to do something, right? So sudo cp, we have user local, in that Hadoop, under Hadoop directory etc. In that Hadoop, in this we have core site.xml. So where we have to move, copy this file to, we have to copy this file to user local Spark conf directory. Got it? Just to copy this. Fine, it is copied. Next, copy one more file, hdfs-site.xml. It is copied. And one more file from Hive configuration directory, local Apache Hive. In that conf, in that what is the file name? HIV hive-site.xml. Hive-site.xml from Hadoop Hive configuration directory to Spark configuration. That's it. Perfect. Done. You can just verify. User local, we are user local. This is the Spark directory, installation home directory. In this configuration directory, now we have hdfsi.xml, hivesite.xml, and coresite.xml, these three files. Now the integration is done internally. Now if you start programming, then Spark and Hive are going to work together. Okay, yeah. Here I have told you that the meta store of Hive data will be stored in some RDBMS. No one asked me what RDBMS can be used. No one asked me what RDBMS can be used, which RDBMS will support for the meta store of Hive. Derby will support for it, MySQL will support, and PostgreSQL SQL. These three will support for it. Okay, you can choose any one RDBMS. Okay, but in my machine I have used MySQL. Okay, just all the why, because mostly Derby is not used. Either PostgreSQL or MySQL will be used. Okay, remember that point. I will try to show you how that will be done. So this is prompt of the Python. Okay, how we are going to access the data of Hive. Okay, this here we have Hive terminal, here we have Spark terminal. Okay, so in this we have a database called as default and account device. Okay, now show databases. How many databases it is showing here? Totally 14, right? Starting from DB1 to XYZ. Now can I see the same information from Spark? Is it possible? It is possible. Spark.sql show databases dot, first let me count. So how many databases it is showing now? Totally 14. And if you want to print all those databases, you can use show of 14. See this db1, db2, and db3 default and ending with xyz. Do we have the same databases here or not? The same databases, the list of the same databases. Okay, and uh, here we have some table called as, under the database default, we'll have a table called as account device. Will I be able to access from Spark or not? Spark.sql. The same, we can use directly SQL query from here. Select star from default dot account device, some limit, some 10 dot show. Perfect. Select a star from default dot account device limit 10. That is the query that we have written here, right? Some limit of 5. Same query we are writing here. Perfect, right? ID, account ID, device ID, activation date, and account device ID. The same thing here. We don't have header part here, but it is showing everything here. ID, account ID, device ID, activation date, and account device ID. Yeah. Can you tell me what is the purpose of this integration? We are doing integration, that's fine. We are able to access the data. That's what is that we do actually. Hive uses in the backend HDFS, so which is a distributed file system. We can store large volumes of data in the distributed file system. Okay, and but we have Hive, right? We have the tool called as Hive, where we can play with the data. The same thing. What are the queries we run here? The same queries we can run everything in Hive, in the Hive prompt itself. Then why we are moving to Spark? What is the need of moving to Spark?
So for
Because
better performance. Yeah.
yeah, performance,
Mhm.
mainly for performance issues. But because Hive is not that Hive from whatever we have here, it is not that fast as Spark, because Hive by default uses MR, map reduce, as the execution engine in the backend. Okay, the map reduce in the execution as the execution engine. So with this integration, what is that we are going to achieve is data will be in HDFS, isn't it? Well, because the data will be stored in HDFS, but processing will be done in processing is in. Okay, so processing is in the Spark and data is stored in HDFS. Okay.